Okay, welcome to another video. It's not very often I put videos out because of the live streams now, but I know people do like to see them. So this is the Sony Air 7 that I worked on. Well, I didn't work on it. I tried to get it apart on the live stream on Sunday, but there was one screw stopping it coming apart. So I've since actually removed that screw up the top there. You can just see it through there. It's gone. So I had to drill the top of it off, and then I've unscrewed it with a magnet. So I've taken both of those out. So now the unit will lift out of the case. So according to the service manual, let's go to my screen. And pop that in. So this is the service manual showing how to take it apart. I mean, I've done all of this so far. The problem screw was this one here, P, which I believe is Phillips 2.6 by 8 mil. I didn't know a 2.6 mil screw existed. I know 2.5 does. Excuse me, or M2.5. So next job is to remove the keyboard. We've got peel off the sticked portions. So there's a little bit sticky there by the looks of it, holding that in. So there's 4 screws and the sticky pad. So let's go back to the main camera and see if we can get this thing apart. Let's just zoom out a little bit because I'm a little bit tight there. So we've got our 4 screws, and these I believe are 4 mil. Oh, hang on, no, forget that, scrap that, I'm on the wrong side of the board. It's the keyboard side's got to come off first, apparently, which is this side. There we go. As we were, right. I think the other ones have got to come off as well, but we'll do it in the order the service manual says. Always really useful to have the service manual, and thanks to Mr. Cody's for sending that on to me. Paul seems to have a really good schematic library, and he can put his hands on stuff really quick. Now I've got quite a bit of service info on the majority of stuff, really, I suppose, that's available, but trying to find it's another thing. Okay, so it obviously hinges this way because we've got this ribbon cable. So apparently it's sticked, as they call it, in this corner. Okay, I can see what it means. So what's the best tool for getting in there? Possibly a little craft knife. It seems to be stuck just here. There we are. Aha. Now we're getting somewhere. I can now get to the volume pots. Now, if you remember, the volume and the squelch certainly weren't working properly. The volume, if I wiggled it, I could just about get it to make contact. Now, apparently these are renowned for these 2 pots breaking down, and they're next to impossible to get replacements. You know, there's no stock of the original Sony stuff, so we've got much hope in getting an exact replacement, although I have ordered up a couple just to try. So it's worth a try, isn't it? As I say, it's a lovely old radio, and I've got to try and keep these things going for as long as physically possible. One of the issues is they've got the really long stems and they latch. You can see that they actually latch. So I've got to get that. There's a little tiny circuit board there. I don't know exactly how that comes out yet. I think I'll strip the whole thing down I don't think there's... I think once we've done this, we're going to have cured the majority of the issues. There are some capacitors in there, but as I say, they're those tiny little ones, and they're usually pretty good, but we can recap it if necessary, but we'll see. We'll see if this cures the issues. It's really mucky, actually. Let's get a brush and just brush that off a minute. So yeah, the squelch pot has actually got a switch in it that switches it between auto squelch and manual squelch. So I'm hoping we can pull these apart and actually repair them inside, but it is apparently possible to do that. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's pop back to the service manual then a minute. So obviously this is the PLL board. I keep saying obviously, but this is the PLL board that we're looking at the moment, or we were looking at. So now we've got to swap it over, turn it over. And it looks like it's just 2 screws in the side hold the other board on. And it looks like they're the ones that are attached to the volume pots. So, yeah, let's do that next then. So we've got 2 screws in the side. Exciting stuff, isn't it? I do like playing with some of these old things that I've never worked on before. It's always a bit of a challenge. Cool, I'll tell you what, they certainly hammer these screws home well. Okay, so that looks exactly the same size screw as the other one, but we'll keep them separate just in case. And the same on the other side. Okay, we're getting there. We are getting there. How many layers is this thing? Now, I'm wondering now if it's just that one screw that holds that board there in. Oh, because this is what we want to get out, this volume and squelch pot. I wouldn't have thought it was just held on by one screw, but you never know. Or does that whole piece? I've got a funny feeling I've got to undo these 2 nuts and that screw and then pull it out that way. So I think these nuts are actually holding it onto the board as well. Let's have a quick look back at the service manual. Okay. So yeah, we've got that out. We've got signal board up, and conductor side of the signal board can be checked. I don't know that we need to take the other board off at this stage. Although very interesting it is, but okay, it doesn't tell us how to get the volume pots out. Right, okay. I'm just going to have to suss that out myself then. Right. So it's going to be nigh on impossible to get a socket in there. Let's pull these knobs off. So they've got a splined shaft with a slot in the middle of it. Who knows if we'll be able to get those. Just undo that screw, see if that frees anything up. No, that's the whole plate. I think undoing those two nuts will free it up. See if I can get an adjustable spanner in there. Not really. They've sealed it with some thread sealer as well. Let's see if a socket will go in there. If I've got a small enough socket, that is. Yeah, that might yeah, that'll do it. So that is an 11mm socket. Get the bar. Just chuck my battery off now. That's great. Was in my pocket, but it's not anymore. Yeah, they put like a thread locking compound on there, so they're coming. I've tried to buy these, I've tried to have them made as well, but there's a minimum order of about 260, I think it is. So that's not going to happen, sadly. Looks like that is going to go now. So we're going to need to get these two what do you call them, connectors out. I'm just going to have to pull that bit of tape out there. It's really well made, this, and I mean it's a great bit of engineering. Sony really did make some good stuff back in the day. Come on, up we come. You're unlatched. That's one. So they're colour coded as well, so you can't get them the wrong way round. Black to black, red to red. There we go. There we have it. The dreaded switch bank. Zoom in a little bit on this now because we're getting a bit small. So you can see this is just a 3-pin potentiometer. And this one's still a 3-pin potentiometer. This is 50K. We think this is linear, and the volume pot should be logarithmic. So a log pot and a linear pot, a log and lin. But this one's got a switch on it, which switches these two resistors. So that really switches between auto and manual squelch, as you can see on the top there. You can see that or not? Can you? If it'll focus, come on. Yeah, so pushed in is auto, out is manual. So that's one of the issues with this, is trying to get a switched pot, and it's got to be a push switch as well. So pushing that makes the contact, slides it between these two sets of contacts. But the issue tends to be inside the pot itself. So you've got to take these apart, and they are miniature. We can see by the size of my fingers there, they're pretty tiny pots. So I think we need to get them off of the board. Remembering, well, they'll only go on one way because one's got 3 connectors and the other one's got loads. So it's going to be interesting to see. So let me just get the desoldering tool fired up a minute, and we'll get these taken off. Okay, well, I've got the solder sucker in and I've desoldered it. So let's just pull them out from the board. Oh, it's got a little peg holding it in on the back as well, just there. Watch your fingers, Graham. There we go. Okay, let's put that board to one side. Move the radio out of the way. So here they are. Now, this one's clearly marked on the back. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. It's clearly marked Alps, Japan. If the camera's getting in there. Yeah, Alps in Japan, so it's well-made stuff, really. Alps is quite good pots. Now, there's 2 metal bars that hold this in. So I've got to somehow remove probably the front and then pull them out from the back. It looks like they've been just squashed over. But I'm probably going to have to Dremel those out or something. I need to get a Dremel in and just very finely eat away at the piece, the head of the pin there, and then pull them out backwards very carefully. Don't want it all to fall apart. Exactly the same with this one. This one's not marked Alps. Whether these were specially made by Alps for Sony, I don't know. I have found a Bourne's pot that may substitute the squelch pot, but I can't find a replacement for the volume pot. There is somebody selling them online, but they're an extortionate price. Right, so I'm going to fire the Dremel up a minute, and I'm going to try and eat away at these. I'm going to go the aluminium side, I think, rather than the plastic, because that should be a bit more robust, and it's a lot thicker than the plastic and less likely to melt. So bear with me. It's time for the Dremel, or my Black & Decker as it is. Okay, so I've got the sort of Dremel imitation tool out. So what I'm going to attempt to do, as I say, is to gently eat away at the head to the pins here, and I've got like a milling, I don't know, it's like a diamond impregnated bit. So I'm just gonna have a quick go with that. I'm gonna put my magnifying glasses on because they'll also act as safety goggles as well. Let's go for it. Right, so a bit of a brush off. We don't want it going inside the pot really. Now, have I got that off or not? Let's have a look. See if I can get a knife in the back. Don't think so quite yet. Let's get do a bit more. Oh, okay. Let's use the sharp side cutters and see if I can just grab hold of it and ease it out at all. Yeah, there we are, sure enough. That is coming out. See that or not? Focus. You can see that's just starting to pull out. So I've got to take the head off the other one. So I'll do that off camera and join me again and we'll pull it out and have a look inside. Okay, well I've gone and taken them both off now. Well, taken them both off. I've taken the heads off of both the pots, the volume and the squelch. So that's the bit I used. It's just a really fine, it's not pointed, it's sort of flat but long diamond impregnated bit, and that seems to have done the job. So let me just grab a sheet of paper a minute and we'll start dissecting them. Okay, so here's the first one. This is the volume pot. Hopefully don't get my head in the way, but let's just push my chair down a little bit so I can actually get in there a bit closer. So I'm just going to pull the two pins out with the side cutters. I've got the spring out so it doesn't ping the, I've got the shaft pushed out so it doesn't ping the back off of it too harsh. So let's pull these pins out. That's one. This one's a bit tricky. Okay. Gotta be really careful now because this is all going to fall apart now. That's the second one. Let's get some tweezers. So there's our spring. Inside here should be where our problem lies, and to be fair, I don't see a problem. apart from a really dirty volume pot. I'm just wondering, sorry you can't see what I'm doing here, but the way it's been sort of shown on other, and I'll try and put the link, is that the actual track here comes away, but there's some sort of like conductive grease by the looks of it. It's a little tiny circlip holding this piece on the back. But do we actually need to get that off? Is that loose? It is a bit loose, yeah. Okay, so I think that could be just floating around inside. So I'm going to need to get this little tiny circlip off. So, yeah, there's a little tiny, I don't know if you can see that or not, it's a little tiny black circlip on the end of the shaft holding this back piece on. Shaky hands. There we go. That's a little circlip off. Make sure I keep these bits together. So that should pull off now, which it does. Okay, there we are. One exploded, literally, pot. So I think the issue lies in this piece here becoming detached, but to me, it's not actually fastened, so I don't think that is causing the issue. It's got to be that way around, possibly. Yeah, there we go. So what I might do is fire the microscope up and have a look under the microscope just to see if anything is broken off there, or if I can see if any other issues. So I'm going to do that in a minute, so bear with me, and I'll report my findings shortly. Okay, well, I've switched over to the overhead camera, and I've got my magnifying glasses on. So I stripped all this down, and you know, it seemed a bit strange because this piece here was making contact with the aluminium bushing on this piece, which is a little bit grooved. It's got a bit of wear on it, but I thought, well, that can't surely be the pot. And of course, the actual piece we need is lurking in beneath this piece. So let me go in a bit closer on here. Again, this could save a lot of these radios from being scrapped. So I've popped apart there's two little plastic pieces, and this bit comes off. And this is our track, which appears to be okay. And this is the bit that's the issue. So this is broken away from this white plastic bit here. So I'm going to take a couple pictures a minute, and then we're going to have a look and see about fixing that back on, which is going to be pretty tricky. Okay, so the issue is, let's get my tweezers, because this is really really fragile. Is this, let's take that out actually. Well, let's come out anyway. So this track, sorry, these contacts are broken off of this carrier now. Just trying to see, it should fit on there by the looks of it. There's two little tiny pegs and what looks like a blob of glue or something. Not sure what that is. Is that a contact? Yeah, I'll have to put that under the microscope to see what that is a minute, but that might just be the head of that. So this piece, which is the contacts for the volume pot, should fit on there. Oh dear, oh dear, this is fiddly. Like that. It should obviously sit upright. So that's dropped off, which is causing the pot to not work. So that's how it's supposed to be, like that. It's difficult to show you, but if I tilt it up there, you can see that the contacts are correct. So I'm going to get this under the microscope and have a look at it in greater detail. I can't show you that because I've got no camera for the microscope, but bear with me. I'm going to have a look and see if I can fix it. I mean, my intention, if it's possible, is to just melt that little peg there, just to hold it in, maybe with a little tiny blob of epoxy on top of it or something. I don't really want to super glue it because I'm not confident that that'll work. Yeah, interesting design, very, very minute. I think what I'll also do is I'll clean it up before I do that, so we'll pop that little bit off again. I'm probably going to regret doing that because I might get it back in the same place, but I'm sure I will. So I'll clean this piece up, make sure it's all spanky. Spanking clean. So bear with me. Okay, well, I'm just in the process of trying to put this together under the microscope. So I've got you zoomed in as close as I can, I think. Can I get you in closer? No, that's as close as I can get you in. So I'm basically going to go under the microscope and try and put this together if I can. Got some slightly better tweezers, they're still not fantastic, but they're better than the other ones. Really, you don't know how good your tweezers are until you play with something under the microscope. Right, okay, that's good there. So what I need to try and do is just melt a little bit of plastic, if I can hold it long enough in the right position. So clean that tip right off. I'm working under the microscope, so that's sort of got it. It's not brilliant, to be fair, because it's lost a big blob of plastic off the end. So that should hold it for a minute. Just going to try and grab that with my fingers. God, it's tiny. See how that's No, it's not really done a lot. So what I think I'm going to do then, this just isn't melting, it's just going away when I heat it. So I'm going to put some super glue, or some of my 60-second glue down there first. I'm going to lay this on top. I might see, I don't know whether this is ABS. It doesn't look like ABS. I might see if I can melt some more plastic on top of that. And then I'm going to just put a very thin film of epoxy on that again. So bear with me, I'll get that done. Okay, so I've got my glue ready. Well, this is 60-second bond. It's like a super glue, but it's just lasts that little bit longer. So bear with me, because I'm going to probably blow the shot out in a minute here, but I just go back under the microscope. I just want to make 100% sure. Let's just try and knock that back a bit for you. Still a bit blown out, but I want to try and record what I'm doing. Let's get a little bit of glue on here. It's so tiny, it's difficult to see with the naked eye. I can just about see it with a magnifier, but I don't want to put too much on. I'm going to have to be pretty quick with this, otherwise. Come on, there you go. Oh, damn. Oh, dear. Okay. That looks okay. Let's let that go off a minute then, and join me. Okay, well, hopefully you can see that. That's taken a fair bit of work and a lot of fiddly messing about. So basically what I've done, I've added a piece of it's ABS 3D printing filament. So I've got a little tiny bit of that on the end of a very fine pointed soldering iron, and I've blobbed that on top of the original bit that's broken off down here. I did put a little tiny bit of super glue to bed it and hold it in place, so it's got super glue underneath it. I've then melted that plastic bit on it, and then I've put a very fine film of epoxy over the top of that. two-part rapid epoxy. So I'm going to leave that probably overnight now to go off, and then have a go tomorrow at reassembling that. And if that all works and it's all good, then we'll do the same on the squelch pot. So there you are. That's enough for now.